Hearings of the City of Boston. Today is June 24th, 2021. Todd Lyman, if you could do a roll call.
Certainly. Public Works Department.
Paraj Jayasinghe.
Property Management.
Joseph Callahan.
Transportation Department.
Amy Gordon.
Inspectional Services Department.
Brian Ronan.
Water and Sewer Commission. Denise, if you're on, I believe you may be muted. Denise may still be muted. Disabilities Commission.
Sarah Leon.
And Water and Sewer Commission one more time. We have quorum regardless, sir.
Thank you. I believe I noticed Ms. Devlin. We'll check back on her. All right. At this point, I'd like to, at the request of the Public Improvement Commission staff, the acceptance of minutes of the PSA hearings held on June 10, 2021. I'd like to give a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept the hearing minutes of June 10th.
Do I hear a
Second.
second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. First item of the agenda, it is in our public hearings, continued segment of today's agenda. First item, on a petition by Dorchester Michaels LLC for the acceptance of a pedestrian easement adjacent to Freeport Street, which is a public way in Dorchester, located on its easterly side at the site of 780 William T. Morrissey Boulevard, generally northeast of Morrissey Boulevard. This was introduced under new business on April 15th of this year. First public hearing was April 29. Public hearing was continued for May 13th and then subsequently to June 10th. As shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Pedestrian Easement Plan, Freeport Street, Boston, Dorchester 1 sheet dated June 22nd, 2021.
Good morning. My name is Steve Matarano with Bowler, here representing Michael Dorchester LLC. Also joined here Matt Waller from Robinson Cole, the legal counsel for the project as well. So just want to reintroduce the project really quickly. We've requested a few continuances to conclude some conversations with Parks Department relative to existing trees. Just happy to announce that we have concluded that process. I did go through the tree hearing process and actually ended up agreeing to maintain, or at the request of the Parks Department, to maintain the two existing trees along our frontage. So a couple changes from what we presented initially at new business to modify the sidewalk and actually increase the amount of easement area to accommodate the sidewalk widening behind the trees. So I can, if we'd like to jump right into the easement itself, or would a brief reminder of what the overall project is be helpful to the commission?
Stephen, if you could, would truly appreciate, like in about 3 minutes or less, if you can just give an overview.
Absolutely.
Because when we do a record search, this will be the hearing that they're going to notice. So if you just can give us a quick overview as to the nature of the project and then have your staff dive into the easement part.
Sure. So I'm presenting my screen right now. That should be up momentarily. So this is a top-down site plan of the project. I assume, is everybody seeing that now?
You're good.
Okay, great. So proposed residential building here. This is 780 Morrissey Boulevard. To orient you, Morrissey Boulevard's on the bottom of the page. You have Freeport Street, which is city ownership is identified by this orange line, which is currently under the custody of Mass DOT, but that portion of Freeport is being transferred back to the city actively, which is why we're here today talking about the frontage along Freeport, specifically the section of the project site is the conversation today, but just so to orient folks, the rest of this is under DCR's control. So Morrissey Boulevard up to this point is DCR, and then on the backside you can see I-93. So Mass DOT's jurisdiction is on the backside of the project. So just to orient folks, residential building here is a couple legs to it. We have some upper level podiums. These are 1 story up. We have most of the parking is housed under the building here. We have some parking that does project up beyond the building there, and some covered under overhang entrance here as well. I'm going to do feedback. That's if folks could mute, might be good. The frontage today, there's not a sidewalk along Freeport Street along our frontage, so we're introducing that. So this is all new. We do require an easement, which is the first action of the agenda today. So we are proposing an easement to allow this sidewalk frontage zone to develop. So we have street trees, a furnishing zone along the Freeport side. Then behind that, we'll have generally an 8-foot sidewalk as we connect into this portion of the property line here. It does get down to 5 feet, and I'll show you that in future slides how we accommodated that tree. This is slightly out of date graphic. It doesn't show the 2 trees that we're maintaining for the parks conversation, but then these are all new trees that we're introducing. These ones here are in DCR jurisdiction. We are introducing a new one here in City of Boston jurisdiction. So that is an overview. We do have a blue light station that we're proposing here. We have a connection that we're proposing down this property line, and then coordinating with DOT and DCR to extend that connection once this bike lane. This is a proposed DCR DOT project here to put this bike path in. So as that comes online, we're requesting the ability to connect into that from our property as well. And we're developing a large bike plaza area in the back adjacent to our bike room. So really trying to make this a very bike-centric project. In addition to the pedestrian accommodations we talked about along the street frontage, these connections to this multi-use path that DCR is creating. And then there's also, as the DCR, they're in the process of designing a lot of improvements to Morrissey Boulevard. Those are still under design, but we are accommodating a 10-foot sidewalk here per their request, which is the beginning of what they envision another multi-use path right along the side of Morrissey Boulevard. So a very different area in the making, a lot of great changes coming beyond just this project. So we've had lots of conversations about what the future looks like in this area. I think there's a great opportunity for a much more bike-centric environment than what you have down there today. So that's a broad brush overview of the project and the area, and there's a lot going on, which is part of the reason it took a while to get the details worked out on what our frontage zone wants to be. But we think we've talked to all the stakeholders and pleased to introduce the project again and talk through the specifics with the commission today. So,
Thank you, Steve. If you could have your staff give the very specifics of the first item, which is the pedestrian easement.
yes, so switching slides here. Did that switch with you? Yes, good. So, as I mentioned, to get the width we need along Freeport, we are proposing a pedestrian easement that extends. This is the beginning of City of Boston jurisdiction, and there is sufficient width here to get the full complete streets, but as you get down, we needed a little bit of the private property in here. And looking at the dimensions, it's up to a little over 4 feet wide to get that. Again, that's the tightest pinch point where we're trying to keep an existing tree right here. So we're pushing the sidewalk in, and we've extended it all the way to the property line, even though the sidewalk doesn't go there today. And you'll see that in the detailed graphics, but this would give the opportunity, if Mass DOT owns this next parcel, if Mass DOT wants to also provide a similar easement on their parcel, we just thought it made sense to bring our easement all the way there for future expansion and continue to the complete streets as DOT does whatever the improvements are on their property. And they are doing some improvements right now in sidewalk work all along their frontage as well. So that is the easement. We've got 94 square feet and this registered parcel, and then in which we're deregistering, and then another 375 feet. So it's just shy of 500 square feet total easement that the project is looking to grant to the city.
Thank you, Stephen. At this point, by the way, truly appreciate your foresight and your efforts to make this thing project as what it needs to be, taking that extra step and the due diligence. So truly appreciate that from my perspective. Comments by fellow commission members?
I just want to thank the project team for sending me the updated easement plans this morning.
Okay, great.
Any comments by PIC staff and or members of today's audience?
No, none.
Hearing none, I'd like to hear a motion regarding the first item.
I'll make a motion to approve a petition by Dorchester Michaels LLC for the acceptance of a pedestrian easement adjacent to Freeport Street as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstain? Hearing none, motion passes. Next item, public hearing, continued item number 2. On a petition by Dorchester Michaels LLC for the making of specific repairs within Freeport Street, a public way, Dorchester, located on its easterly side of at the site of 780 William P. Morrissey Boulevard, generally northeast of Morrissey Boulevard, and consisting of curb realignment, sidewalk and roadway construction, as well as new and relocated pedestrian ramps, specialty pavement, street lighting infrastructure, storm drain infrastructure, street trees, landscaping, and driveway curb cuts. This was introduced under new business on April 15 of this year. Our first public hearing was on April 29. It was continued from May 13 and subsequently continued to June 10. As shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division, specific repair plan 780 William P. Morrissey Boulevard, Freeport Street, Dorchester, 2 sheets dated February 12, 2021 and subsequently revised to June 22nd of 2021.
Very good. Good morning again, Steve Marano from Bowler, joined with representing Dorchester Michaels LLC. I failed to introduce, I see on the call now that Jeff Lewis and Jay Russo from Dorchester Michaels LLC are also in attendance. And then we have Matt Waller from Robinson Cole Projects Legal Counsel. So just pleased to introduce the project again. This is, again, on the screen, I have the PIC drawing, a little more technical than the drawing we looked at the previous agenda item. But this it has the same detail. You can see the footprint of the building. Here, again, multifamily residential rental project. This is the footprint of the building. In gray, you can see a little more clearly. This is all the underground parking, or it's really at grade, but under the building in a podium level and screened from the street. And again, a little bit of parking does project out beyond the footprint of the building, and this is a drive-through courtyard, so you enter into the project to get into the garage of the building. So this hopefully ties the graphic that we showed previously together with the more technical details of how this operationally works. And again, bike path connection and a bike plaza in the rail corner. We do have just a dog park here that is great. I think it's a great amenity for the project that also activates, again, as you start to see the activity from the DCR bike multi-use, DOT, DCR multi-use bike path, you start to get some great activity back here. And we think that dog park will be an added just activity to get, encourage use of the pathway and just make it more interactive with the buildings around. Again, Morrissey Boulevard to the south here, DCR-owned roadway, and we do have a very similar approach for specific repair type items that we're trying to introduce there. Again, street trees along their jurisdiction as well. And then as we got up to this part of Morrissey, and this is more informational of the overall approach to the streetscape, is up in the DCR area, they requested the trees on the back of the sidewalk, mostly because they're going to likely redo a lot of the sidewalk work we're doing when they come in with their final plan. So to give the trees the best opportunity for success in this stretch, we put them on the backside so they can be planted in permanent places, and then the DCR can do their work without disrupting those. As you turn the corner here, we start that street, the streetscape as you come down here, and then right again, in this point here is where it turns into City of Boston jurisdiction. So that's why we actually had to request DCR consider this so we could start the complete streets here and carry that along with the pervious paver strip up into the DCR, which is not a DCR standard item, but they did see the benefit of extending that streetscape just in this vicinity. So I think that was a good win. And then as we come down here, we have a bump in. This is really a bus stop for a private shuttle. We're operating a private shuttle that's in conjunction with the hotel next door is already running. A shuttle that goes to the Red Line, it goes to the airport, and then as the residential units come on, they're going to add some more stops to local, grocery store and other local amenities. So provided a place for that bus to really pull over and do their pickup drop-off activities, and we actually expand the sidewalk into the private property so we can get some benches and some waiting area there that is just ancillary to the bus stop. But again, the red stripe is the easement that we just discussed. What this provides is 8-foot clear width sidewalks behind the bus stop. We have 8-foot clear widths the entire way through the site, and then it does get these are 2 existing trees. There's one right here, and see it's a smaller symbol, but it is a decent sized tree that we've agreed to keep here. So we're putting a tree pit in that paver zone. So it's an oversized tree pit. It's probably it's about 7.5 by 7.5. So quite almost double the size of a traditional tree pit. Again, it's a mature tree. We're trying to give it as much soil and room around that to give it the best chance of success in its new environment. And similarly, down here, another existing tree that through the parks conversation we agreed to maintain. So a similarly oversized tree pit here around that tree, but it is entirely in the paver zone. So the paver zone will extend in this corridor here, and then on the backside, we continue the 8-foot sidewalk, but it does pinch to 5 feet here. There is a retaining wall existing today that runs along the property line. We'll be removing the wall as part of our project to put the sidewalk in, but the wall does exist along the DOT frontage, and we'll turn it back into our property. And that pinch point is 5 feet. So we're able to keep the 5-foot clear. And then 6-foot clear as you get down along Freeport Street. So that's our pinch point to meet back to existing conditions. But again, the easement we're providing does allow 8 feet all along our frontage. So, and again, the easement it's hidden by the wall here, but the easement does extend to the property line. So if at a point in time you get the ability to move this wall that's on the DOT property back, that sidewalk could extend without further permissions from this project. So I think it's set up well. The other improvements, we do have some decorative light poles at the request of the lighting department. There's traditional on utility pole lighting out there today. We're going to supplement it with a few decorative light poles. The locations were really selected by the lighting department, and we're putting in some provisions for them that include just a handhold box and a stub out. So if in the future things change in this area or they decide to bring it across the street. It just gives them, again, some infrastructure in place for them to continue expanding their network as their needs comply without fully, disengaging some of the efforts that we're putting in and the stuff that we're putting in the ground today doesn't need to be altered. They will have to dig up a portion here to get to the stub, but they don't know where it wants to go past that. So we agreed to just stub it out at this point, and we'll continue. They'll pick it up from there in the future if needed. But the city jurisdictional line is right here. It's unlikely they go further because those would be DCR controlled lights from that point beyond. So providing the stub at their request, not very unclear on what that may be used for in the future. And that's it, really. We are just talking about this zone here, and I gave you the broad strokes of what's going on there. And there is a blue bike station that we've offered and that goes on our private property, but again, it will be accessed from the DCR sidewalk.
Thank you, Stephen. Truly appreciate that very thoughtful presentation. Just want to amend the record and the record to reflect that Ms. Denise Devlin, representing the Water and Sewer Commission, is attending today's hearing. So at this point, are there any questions or comments by fellow commission members regarding what was presented by Stephen? Hearing none, Stephen, I'm going to assume that the maintenance agreement is in the works because we are having a little bit of an audio issue with the PSC staff. And I will also further assume that everything is okay with PSC staff on this matter and that there is no one in the audience who is wishing to add testimony.
Correct.
Okay. Great. All right, so at this point, I'd like to hear a motion regarding this item.
I'll make a motion to approve a petition by Dorchester Michaels LLC for the making of specific repairs within Freeport Street as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed or abstain? Hearing none, motion passes.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Third item in the public hearings continued segment of our agenda on a petition by Verizon New England, Inc. for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunication conduits with city shadow within the following public ways in South Boston. PFO Boulevard, generally between address number 55 and Congress Street at PFO Boulevard. This was brought under new business on May 27. First public hearing was on June 10. As shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Grant of Location Plan, Verizon, PFO Boulevard, Congress Street, South Boston, one sheet dated May 2021.
Right, good morning. My name is Ross Bilodeau, representing Verizon New England. Care if I share my screen here?
Go for it, Ross.
Okay. Okay. This was presented again with updates 2 weeks ago. And to recap, we're running 12 new conduits, which includes city shadow from this existing manhole 1372 up Pier 4 Boulevard to a new handhole for the new 55 Pier 4 Boulevard, with 4 of the conduits stubbing out over here, and the other city shadow in the handhole, and 4 conduits for Verizon continuing to the new building. As of the last hearing, Boston Water and Sewer wanted to review some changes, which were the extended stubs here. We have received comments, however, they were received this morning. So this plan does not reflect any of those changes or comments, but they were kind of minor. I was kind of hoping, because Verizon is really looking to get this project going here, hopefully pending those small comment changes, passing this one.
Ross, I always want to emphasize that the responsibility of getting timely review is on you and not the PIC Commission member staff, okay? Because all of that homework was supposed to be done before you brought this thing under new business. So any and all times afforded by any commission member and or their staff is part of the business, because I'm sure they have much work to be done. Whether you receive the comments this morning or not is of no consequence, at least for me. So that being said, Ms. Devlin, it is your choice as to whether you want us to proceed with the plans as shown on the screen.
Oh, yes, good morning, Parrot. We actually, the conduit, it has to go behind the water main, and it's actually showing in front. So it'll be showing to the right on the plan instead of to the left at the bend there. So what the plan that is shown here is, we don't want that. So when I did, I do want to stick, just to mention something for Ross. I know when we are going to have changes to our administration. So what I was told is what we do have to do is, even though there are changes that are presented at PIC, I know everybody has, BTD and other agencies, they look at this and they may have changes from what we approve. I was told that we are going to, we do have to go through the process again, the petitioners rather, if there are changes, that they do have to go back to the Engineering Customer Services Department, and get it approved before it gets finalized at PIC. So, you have to go through the process of getting the stamp copy and the CAD file, once it's, what the final, approval before it gets finalized at PIC. So I just wanted to mention that, because that is, we just have to enforce that. And I know sometimes at the meetings, it gets, the layout, if it gets changed, it gets looked at quickly by us and gets approved, but that is something that, what I just mentioned about going back to Engineering Customer Services, we do have to enforce that.
Okay, sure. I mean, I did have information sent to me that this was approved by Boston Water and Sewer in December 18th of 2020, as it was back then. I mean, all the minor changes, I mean, I understand that's the process, so we'll have to live with that.
Yeah, and I apologize too, just to, to have you go back and forth, but we do have a new administration now, and that, that may change, later on, but that is the new process. So, thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Ross, truly appreciate your understanding of the various dynamics. So Ms. Devlin, is it your desire that we continue this thing for 2 weeks until you are in receipt of the necessary paperwork, or what is your choice?
Oh, yes, that would be great.
Wonderful. So Ross, we will always, as commission members and city staff, we will do everything within our power to expedite things. Nothing is to be gained by us holding on to things. That's not how we do business. So we appreciate your understanding, and we'll work towards getting this thing resolved in 2 weeks. So that being said, if there are no further comments, I'd like to get a motion to continue this public hearing for 2 weeks, which would be, good Lord, July 8th, I hope.
Make a motion to continue, public hearing continued, item number 3, as read into the record by the chair, until July 8th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Ross, we will see you in 2 weeks. Hopefully, all the items will be, what I say, I's dotted, T's crossed, button down. Thank you, Ross. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Moving on to the public hearing segment of our agenda for today. First item, on a joint petition by Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority and the City of Boston Public Works Department for the making of specific repairs within Mount Vernon Street, a public way, Dorchester, located generally at address number 236 southeast of William P. Morrissey Boulevard, and consisting of curb realignment, sidewalk, and median island reconstruction, as well as new and relocated pedestrian ramps and street lighting infrastructure. This was brought under new business on June 10th of this year, as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repair Plan, Mount Vernon Street at Bayside Expo Center, Boston, one sheet dated May 2021.
Good morning, everyone on the committee. My name is Katie Moulton. I'm here with representing WSP and the MBTA on our project on Mount Vernon Street. If I may, please share my screen.
Katie, could you also let us know who else is attending this presentation from your team, so that way we will have a full record?
I believe that Natasha Vance with the MBTA is on this call, as well as other representatives from WSP, I believe.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
there's a lot of people on the call I can't see.
That's okay, as long as the team members who are on the petition have been identified, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, Katie.
Okay, thank you. So the location we are looking at is Mount Vernon Street at Bayside Expo. And as we discussed 2 weeks ago, we're doing some minor modifications to the curb ramps at the entrance to Bayside Expo to create ADA accessible crossings. We're also doing improvements at the center median to create a safe refuge island. And as well on the opposite corner, again, to create 2 safe ADA compliant wheelchair ramps for the bus stops at Mount Vernon Street and Bayside Expo. Is there any other information you need from me, Para?
That's what I tried to find out, Katie. Any comments by fellow commission members regarding what Ms. Bolden has presented? Hearing none. Katie, I'm going to.
I guess my one question is the ramp on the opposite side of, like, there's one ramp missing here. Is that because it's compliant already?
This ramp right here?
Yep.
Yes, this is already a compliant ramp, correct.
When, can you just label it as compliant?
Yes, we can do that, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. Any further comments by commission members? Hearing none. Again, assuming, Todd, how is your connection? Are we still good on your mic, or are we still challenged?
No good.
Awesome. Hoping, so I'm assuming staff is fine, and also assuming that there is no other comments by members of today's audience. I'd like to hear a motion regarding public hearing item number 1.
I'll make a motion to approve a joint petition by the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority and the City of Boston Public Works Department for the making of specific repairs within Mount Vernon Street, as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed or abstained? Hearing none, motion passes. Next item, public hearing number 2, on a joint petition by the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority and the City of Boston Public Works Department for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in Dorchester, consisting of curb realignment, sidewalk reconstruction, as well as new and relocated pedestrian ramps, street lighting infrastructure, and storm drain infrastructure. Adam Street between Westmoreland Street and Beaumont Street, Westmoreland Street at Adam Street, Beaumont Street at Adam Street. This was brought under new business on June 10th of this year, as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Specific Repair Plan, Adam Street at Westmoreland Street, Boston, 2 sheets dated May 2021.
Good morning, committee. Again, my name is Katie Moulton. I'm with WSP, here representing the MBTA on the Patty Accessibility Project. The location we are looking at here is Adams Street between Westmoreland and Beaumont. And as with the Patty projects, we have been improving wheelchair ramps and sidewalk reconstruction to improve accessibility at all the MBTA bus stops. At Westmoreland Street, we will be creating new accessible ramps across Westmoreland and again across Adams Street. The ramps here at Chelmsford are already ADA compliant. Similarly, at Beaumont Street, we are creating a new bump out on the corner of Beaumont to be able to create a ADA accessible ramp with a level landing. We have a crosswalk here. We have a new drop inlet to bring the drainage away from the crosswalk at this location. And at the corner of Franconia Street, as we discussed 2 weeks ago, this will remain a apex ramp due to accessibility reasons that make it almost impossible for us to create 2 perpendicular ramps. And we have submitted documentation from the ADA committee that this is acceptable at this corner.
Thank you, Katie. Comments by commission members?
Can you label the compliant ramps as compliant?
Yes, we will do that, Amy.
Any further comments by commission members? Hearing none. Comments by PSC staff and or members of today's audience? Hearing none, I'd like to entertain a motion regarding this item.
I make a motion to approve a joint petition by the Mass Bay Transportation Authority, the City of Boston Public Works Department, for the making of specific repairs in the area of Adams Street, Westmoreland Street, and Beaumont Street, as further read into the record by the chair.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed or abstain? Hearing none, motion passes. Third item on today's agenda, on a joint petition by Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority and the City of Boston Public Works Department for the making of specific repairs within Washington Street, a public way, West Roxbury, located generally at address numbers 3589 through 3615, north of Arbor Way, and consisting of curb realignment, sidewalk reconstruction, as well as new and relocated pedestrian ramps, storm drain infrastructure, and a median island. This was brought under new business on June 10th of this year, as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repair Plan, Washington Street, opposite Barnett Street, Boston, 2 sheets dated May 2021. Katie.
Good morning again, everyone. My name is Katie Moulton. I am with the WSP representing the MBTA on their Patty Accessibility Project. This location is Washington Street at the Metromark apartment complex. We are creating a new compliant crossing with a safe refuge island in the middle. These are all new ramps that do not currently exist at this location with the existing bus stop. And I believe that's it.
Sorry, thank you, Katie. Any comments by commission members?
Oh, good morning, Katie. There was just a really minor comment we realized that we missed when we looked at these plans. So on this, so it's the same sheet, I'm actually looking at, right where it's, on the, right where your arrow is,
Yep.
up there, it says proposed concrete sidewalk. So to the right of that, it says retain drain manhole and then retain catch basin.
Yes.
Yeah, so the retained drain manhole should read retain sump, and then the retained catch basin should read retained drop inlet. And if you prefer, I could just send you that too quickly in an email right after the meeting, if that's okay.
That's fine. It's just that some nomenclature up here you would like us to change.
Oh, yes, yeah, that's it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is unfortunately, of course, the crossing is right at the low point of the roadway. So,
Yeah, thank you, Katie.
of course.
Thank you, Denise. Any further comments by fellow commission members? Hearing none. Again, assuming that PSC staff is fine with public hearing number 3, and assuming that there are no comments by members of today's audience, I'd like to hear a motion regarding public hearing number 3.
I'll make a motion to approve a joint petition by the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority and the City of Boston Public Works Department for the making of specific repairs within Washington Street as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed or abstain? Hearing none, motion passes. Next item on today's agenda, public hearing number 4 on a petition by Externet Systems Inc. for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunication conduits with City Shadow within the following public ways in Dorchester: Talbot Avenue between address number 52 and Blue Hill Ave, Blue Hill Avenue between Talbot Avenue and Harvard Street, west of Blue Hill Avenue. This was brought under new business on June 10th of this year, as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Grant of Location Plan, Talbot Avenue, Blue Hill Avenue, Harvard Street, Boston, 6 sheets dated May 2021.
Hey, good morning. Dave Gagin with NBNC here on behalf of Externet. Trying to share my screen here, but I don't see the option. Oh, here we go. Are the plans up?
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything, David. Now we are. Good.
Here we go. They're there now?
David, could you hold on? I think it's our do it folks, Joseph Cusack. If you can mute that.
So your audio is really garbage. I don't know if that's what you said about mine. I'm sorry, so are the plans up now on your screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so as you mentioned, Externet seeking a grant location for telecommunications fiber conduit. So I'll just go through the run here. We're starting on Talbot Ave out of the hub, approximately 1,042 feet. Runs north-northwest along Talbot. Gosh, I'm having trouble with this presenting screen. There we go. So, yeah, it runs along Talbot. We hit the intersection at Harvard and Blue Hill Ave, where it turns south. Here we go. Ends here. There it would step aerially to service future small cell communications facilities. So, I'm trying to think, not too many comments, from the last hearing from 2 weeks ago. I think there was some concern about possibly impacting some of the traffic sensors at the intersection. I think we alleviated those. We're aware of some street lighting laterals in and around this area, the islands at the intersection. So, we're aware to be cautious of those when digging. Beyond that, these were updated with additional details about the city shadow dock. A handhold was added at the start of the run in the sidewalk on to Talbot. And I think that pretty much covers it. Denise, if you're on, I got your email this morning, so thanks for reviewing the newest set. No additional comments. We'll get you copies of the, hard copies and the CAD next week. So.
All right, thank you, David.
Yep. Yeah, so with that, open to any questions or comments on these.
Thank you, David. Any comments by commission members? Hearing none. Let me check my PSC staff. My PSC staff is good on this item and there are no public testimony. So at this point, I'd like to hear a motion regarding public hearing number 4.
I'll make a motion to approve a petition by Externet Systems for the grant of location in Talbot Ave, Blue Hill Ave, and Harvard Street as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Public hearing number 5 on the petition by PC Systems Inc. for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunication conduits with city shadow within the following public ways in Boston proper. Kilmarnock Street, generally between Boylston Street and Peterborough Street, Boylston Street and Kilmarnock Street. This was brought on a new business on June 10th, as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston, Public Works Department, Engineering Division, ground location plan, proposed lateral micro placement, Kilmarnock Street and Boylston Street, Boston, 3 sheets dated March 3rd, 2021, and revised June 2nd, 2021.
Good morning, everyone. This is Adam Heller from Sienna Engineering Group, representing TC Systems for this petition. I'm going to share my plan here, so let me know if everybody can see.
You're good.
All right. So this is a petition to install a telecommunications conduit on Kilmarnock and Boylston Street. We did receive comments from Boston Water and Sewer this morning, just regarding the position of this proposed manhole. We've asked that we move the manhole slightly further out so that we maintain 4 feet of distance between this catch basin. Other than that, the other comments were basically just nomenclature. They said a couple additional lines to call out that may have been missed on the original print. But other than that, the running line has stayed the same. I reviewed last week that we made a change up at the intersection of Kilmarnock and Boylston to get this handle outside of the ADA ramp. So we made that change to accommodate that request. Other than that, I would be happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Dennis, are you okay with the responses from the petitioner?
Oh, yes, that's fine. You know, I just wanted to just make sure that, you know, when we get to get the plan updated, I know you got the email from us, Adam, this morning about the procedures, you know,
Yes.
to get the approval down, engineering customer services for any little changes like this, just go through the normal process. So once it's fine, you know, final, we can just send us the CAD file and then the, you know, the 4 plans for a stamp copy.
Sure. So I suppose my question for you, Denise, would be, are we able to have this passed, assuming all other parties are okay? Or do we need to push this 2 additional weeks to after Water and Sewer approves the final plan?
No, the location for the, you know, for the Granville location is fine. The only comment, like you mentioned, was just the traffic signal.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
We just want to have all the other comments addressed, you know, like you mentioned, like with the services.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Any comments by fellow commission members? Hearing none.
I think we're all set up.
Assuming, okay, PSC staff is fine with with this hearing, and assuming there is no one else onto this audience.
No
That
public
means that we
testimony.
have to get a motion regarding this item.
I'll make a motion to approve a petition by TC Systems for a grant of location in Kilmarnock Street and Boylston Street as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstaining? Hearing none, motion passes. Last item on today's public hearing segment, public hearing number 6. On a petition by TC Systems Inc. for a grant of location with lead company status and no participant to install new telecommunication conduit with city shadow within Ipswich Street, a public way, Rockbury, located at address number 30, generally between Charles Gate East and Boylston Street, Hemingway Street. This was brought on a new business on June 10 of this year, as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston, Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Data Location Plan, Proposed Lateral Conduit Basement 30, Ipswich Street, City of Boston, one sheet dated April 20th of 2021.
Thank you, Para. Once again, this is Adam Heller from Sienna Engineering Group, representing TC Systems for this petition. This is a petition to install, again, telecommunications microduct on Ipswich Street. Boston Water and Sewer got back to us this morning, no additional comments, so we're all set here. We had originally changed this angle so that we cross the water and sewer at a 90-degree angle, and the PIC had originally asked that this manhole get moved slightly out of this driveway, so we accommodated all of those changes. Other than that, this should be a quick installation, just about 200 feet of micro ducts that'll go in very quickly. Should be in and out in a day or two, and I'd be happy to take any other questions.
Thank you, Adam. Comments, concerns by Commission staff? Hearing none. PSC staff is fine with this item, and there is no one to add additional testimony from today's audience. That being said, I'd like to hear a motion regarding public hearing number 6.
I make a motion to approve a petition by TC Systems Incorporated for a grant of location at Ipswich Street, as further read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you very much.
I'll abstain. Motion passes. Thank you, Adam.
Thanks a lot.
Moves the public hearing segment of today's agenda. Now moving on to the new business portion of today's agenda. First item, 249 Corris Road, Jordan Road, Brighton, a pedestrian easement specific repairs on a set of joint petitions by Corey Realty Ventures Nominee Trust and Jordan Realty Advisors LLC. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bert Corey. I'm with DGT. I'm also with Joe Lasano of DGT. We're the civil engineers for this particular project. Let me just give you a brief overview of this. To share my screen, I'm just wondering which button I have to hit. Does a present now and more options? Does anyone know which button I have to hit? Can anyone hear me right now?
We can hear you, but there's nothing coming on the screen.
Let me see. Hold on. Here we go.
Bert, you are there.
Can you see anything?
We can. You are good.
Okay, very good. So the subject property is 249 Corey Road. It's at the corner of Corey Road and Jordan on the Brighton district. There's actually the property itself consists of 3 lots. The lot that we're talking about is lot 1. The applicant as well as the petitioner owns all 3 lots that are shown in this screen. The dash line represents the line between the city of Boston and Brookline. Right now, there's an existing 2-story brick building there. It's vacant. It used to be the Corey Hill Nursing Home. The project is really to demolish this building and build a 4-story, 34-unit residential apartment building with a garage that is below grade or somewhat below grade. The challenge of this site is that it's fairly steep. Matter of fact, I'll back up 1 second here. On this screen here, you can see this is Corey Road, this is Jordan Road, this is the existing facility. You get an idea of the slopes that are coming down through here. They're about 10% on the roadways and a little bit more on the walkways, which we'll talk about in a little bit. This project was presented to the BPDA back in October of last year. The review was finished up, and what's pending right now is the certification of approval. It also went through zoning, and it's been past the appeal period for that. It was also submitted to Boston Water and Sewer, and the site plan at that time was approved back in May of 2021 of this year. And that was primarily for the utilities and the stormwater management that's associated with it. So we sent out the drawings to the city agencies as well as the public utilities and received all of the comments. Once we received all of those, though, we started looking at them and seeing how we could address them. The plan that you have in front of you shows the site itself as well as the specific improvements that are going to occur along Corey Road and Jordan Road. One of the points that was brought up by the Public Improvement Commission staff was asking for a 7-foot wide sidewalk. And at some points along the property, especially over in Corey Road and the subject property, the sidewalk was a little less than 7 feet. So what we're also proposing is a pedestrian easement plan, which extends that into the property about a half a foot. And with that, we're able to get a minimum of 7 feet on the sidewalk area along Corey Road and Jordan Road. Originally, we had a question about, we had a driveway entrance that was 14 feet in width on the inside of the D-stones. It was brought up by a couple of the agencies to reduce that to 12 feet, so we have reduced it. It's shown in this plan as being reduced inside the D-stones. And then we also received comments that go back to a terrific discussion that I had with Sarah Leung at the Disabilities Commission, and then we received several other comments with regards to Corey Road and Jordan Road and what we could possibly do with the curb line that was existing. Right now, the curb line that's there is a 26-foot radius with an existing pedestrian ramp. Let me zoom in a little more for you. This ramp comes out on an apex type of a configuration today. Likewise, on the reciprocal ramp, it also comes out on an apex configuration. With the comments that we received from BPDA about changing the radius or tightening up the curb line in Corey Road, we went from a 26-foot radius to a 10-foot radius, which obviously extends the sidewalk in that area. There was also a comment from Boston Water and Sewer to construct the catch basin. There's an existing catch basin here today, but construct it as a gutter mouth inlet. And due to the location of that existing catch basin in relation to the handicap ramp or the pedestrian ramp, it really wasn't amenable to a gutter mouth simply because it was on a transition curb. So taking those comments into an effect and also listening with Sarah and what her comments were, we tightened the radius. We are proposing a new catch basin with a gutter mouth that will be upgradient of this ramp. We also are proposing the pedestrian ramp to move from an apex configuration around the corner to be more of a straightforward ramp across Jordan Road. This one here, matter of fact, let me go back to this. As you can see, when we have a slope that's coming down at 10% and another slope that's coming down at 10%, they converge into a relatively flat area. That's easy to provide, or relatively easy to provide, the pedestrian ramp that meets all of the requirements. However, when we have a 10% slope and another 10% slope coming down, you can see the issue that we're dealing with here, where it's just such a slope. It's hard to cut into that and create a level landing area, and then have to chase back to the upstream sidewalk as well as the downstream sidewalk. So, in order for us to modify that this pedestrian ramp, we can easily get the tactile warning strip and a level landing ramp there. But it's the it's the transition ramps that get a little steep, and that's going to require a variance from the MABB on that. So we'll be applying for a variance for that. There's no way around it. We can't change the grades that are already there. The sidewalk itself, due to the shorter distance on the roadways, actually gets up to about a 16% slope. Let's see, so we have ramps, the sidewalks are more than the 7 feet as requested. We are proposing a gutter mouth inlet, and we did reduce the entrance to the driveway. This is a ramp that goes down into the below grade parking area. Whereas this driveway here is really primarily for deliveries, drop-offs, the UPS, FedEx, Amazons of the world, as well as trash removal. That's it in a nutshell. The pedestrian easement, to go into this, again, what we're providing here is an easement that extends a half a foot onto the property, and it extends along the entire frontage on Corey Road as well as Jordan Road to facilitate the widening of that sidewalk. The back side of this pedestrian easement is the proposed retaining wall. Going back to this, there's an existing retaining wall there today. There's also another retaining wall that will be proposed in its place. That's it in a nutshell.
Bert, thank you. A couple of observations. The road that you are giving, that 6-inch easement, normally our 40-foot layout roadways should have 7-foot sidewalks. So I'm not sure exactly what the heck happened over here, but we truly appreciate you doing what you can do to ensure that our sidewalks do have the 7-foot. So appreciate on that point. And Bert, the relocated gutter, the stormwater entrance, since you said that both streets are coming down at a 10% slope, hopefully the water that is coming down Corey Street will make its way to the new, or will it make its way to the new gutter inlet? Because I'm concerned about water puddling at the foot of the two roads, Jordan and so.
Yes, the proposed gutter inlet was really to replace an existing catch basin in this location. This is receiving water that's coming down Jordan Road at that 10%. There's also, which I neglected to mention, was there's another catch basin on Corey Road. Again, Corey Road sloping down towards the upper portion of the page at 10%. This will collect the water that's coming off of Corey Road. There'll be a small percentage of water that's along this gutter line that will also follow along the gutter line and continue down Corey Road. Probably easier to show you on this.
But you seem to noted it and you are on top of things. Don't want to labor the point. Any comments by fellow commission members?
We just want to thank the team for being so responsive to our comments. I think the improvements being proposed will greatly improve the pedestrian experience for both the residents for this building as well as the surrounding neighborhood.
Thank you, Sarah. It seems like we've done a bang-up job. We will see you. Sorry, slow down. Any further comments by fellow commission members and or PSC staff? Hearing none or seeing none, but we will see you in 2 weeks on July 8th.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Corey.
Have a great day.
Take care now. So, good. Next item, new business item number 2, Amory Street, Roxbury, discontinuance on a petition by 250 Center Street Housing LLC.
Hi, good morning. This is David Aiken, Senior Project Manager for the Community Builders. Thanks for having us. John Schmidt is here from Ditch Engineering, and we'll share the plan. 250 Center Street is a 110-unit mixed income building that's about 3/4 affordable housing, and we are here to seek a discontinuance of a small area of a highway easement that was put in place by Jackson Square Partners in the city about 12 years ago that would impact the construction of the building. And upon resolution of this, we are looking to break ground in mid to late July of the development.
Good morning, Commissioners. Can you see my screen?
Yes, John, you're good.
Okay, thank you. John Schmidt with Niche Engineering on behalf of the Community Builders at 250 Center LLC. This is the proposed 250 Center Street building. Behind it, you can see 25 Amory Ave, which is currently under construction. As you may recall, the redevelopment of Jackson Square started back in 2008, and these are two of the final buildings that we were about that will complete the project in this block, the Site 3 block. The area where the Amory Street now extends, if you can follow my cursor, comes down and basically it ends here, dead ends, and from here to Center Street, there is a sidewalk that was designed and constructed back in 2010. And at that time, the city actually did the laying out of this section of Amory Street Extension that we're looking to discontinue today. If I may go to the plan now, let me see. So can you see this okay? So the intent is that we're going to discontinue about 432 square feet of the Amory Street Extension layout. And that will allow for the building that I showed in the previous slide to be constructed. Presently, the building encroaches about 7 feet with some cornices and other things into the layout of Amory Street Extension. So by discontinuing this 10-foot width, which consists of 432 feet, will allow the building to go forward. In regards to the reconstruction of Amory Street, the Niche Engineering is under contract with Boston Public Works and has submitted 25% drawings to the city about a month ago, which are currently under review. Our intent is to permit this through the Public Improvement Commission as specific repairs in the fall of 2021. I'm open. Does anyone have any questions?
John, who has the underlying fee ownership of the land that is under discussion? Is it the MBTA? And if so, where are we on?
Yes, so, David, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that, Commissioners. The MBTA has the underlying fee ownership. We are in the process of any day now completing the purchase of that 1,000 square foot parcel from the MBTA.
David?
So 250 Center Street LLC will own that very shortly.
David, I'm sure you know that PIC the commission cannot take any action until all of that paperwork gets resolved. Are you of the opinion that such paperwork or your conversations with the MBTA will be resolved in 2 weeks, or should we go for a longer time, just trying to get that thing out there?
No, we would appreciate having the hearing in 2 weeks, and we should be able to provide that paperwork to the PIC beginning of next week.
Yeah, David, okay, just get this stuff over to the PIC staff in a timely manner so that they are not stressed in having to review this stuff overnight.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, any comments by fellow commission members? Hearing none, and assuming that PIC staff is okay with things and that there are no one in today's audience who has perfect, no comments by all parties. So we will mark you up for 2 weeks. That will put us to July 8th.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Third item in the new business segment of our agenda, Washington Street, Bartlett Station Drive, St. James Street, Roxbury, specific repairs on a petition by Bartlett Place Land, Inc.
Good morning, members of the commission. Ian McKinnon here from Howard Stein Hudson, the civil and traffic engineers, here on behalf of Bartlett Place Land Incorporated and New Oyster Comunidad, the team that's spearheading the Bartlett Station redevelopment. I'm joined today, I believe, by Andre Jones from Nuestra, Guy Busa, and Bob Messenger, also from Howard Stein Hudson. As you may recall, Bartlett Station is a mixed-use redevelopment on the former Bartlett Yard MBTA maintenance facility just south of Nubian Square. On the next slide, the master plan site has a total of 10 buildings, largely affordable housing in various stages of completion. During the planning and the TAPA process, the community and city identified a new traffic signal and safe pedestrian crossing at the site's new access point along Washington Street. The site roadway was built several years ago and will allow for the construction of the remainder of the site. We understand there are several other PIC petitions related to the site today, but today we're just focused on the signal infrastructure and the petitions related to that. Obviously, we thank the city for their continued support and partnership with this project, and at this point, I'll pass it over to Bob Messenger, who can walk you through the details.
Thank you, Ian, and good morning to the commission. Bob Messenger from Howard Stein Hudson. Switch over the specific repair plan here. Just to orientate you guys, Washington Street is running in the center, left to right. We have Bartlett Station Drive on the top of the page and St. James Street on the bottom of the page. The specific repairs are similar throughout at each corner of the intersection. We're reconstructing the sidewalk, realigning the curbs, providing new pedestrian ramps. On this side in Bartlett Station here, we are realigning the curb from existing to propose a 10-foot curb radius. It was a little less in the existing condition. These existing pedestrian ramps were more of an apex orientation. We're straightening this out to provide a shorter and safer crossing. Also, we coordinated with street lighting. They are asking for a relocated street light here and to retain street lighting on this side. And any new BTD signals, they'll be outside of the pedestrian ramps or landings. Moving to the St. James Street portion of the project.
Robert, could you hold on for a second? Just notice something. Can you go back to the segment? Right.
Yep.
Right. So Robert, before the public hearing, please amend this plan so there's some notion of what the resulting widths are. Your Bartlett Station Drive, you are saying is a public way variable width. Washington Street, public variable width, and there's no indication as to the resulting net opening. So can you put some dimensions so we have some idea?
Sure.
Please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Continue.
Continuing on to St. James Street, similar stuff going on here. We're reconstructing the sidewalks, realigning the curbs, and new pedestrian ramps. On this portion, we are extending the sidewalk, so we created a bump out with 10-foot curb radiuses. To shorten up this crossing here, there's an existing electrical duct bank which provided an obstacle. We couldn't shift this ramp any further there because of that obstruction and manhole cover conflicts. Again, more street lighting, so we'll be providing a new street lights on this portion of St. James Street and relocating a street light out of the pedestrian ramp along Washington at this portion of the intersection. And again,
what is the width?
Yeah.
What is the width? I mean, you are making it down, and
so this right here is 26 feet. It's not dimensioned on a plan, but I just measured it prior to.
That's 26 feet?
Yes. I believe.
Okay. I'm a little bit caught off guard, but that's fine.
I'll confirm and follow up.
Yes. Could you also please check those opening widths with the PIC staff and or the Osmer, who is the Public Works Chief Design Engineer for the roads program? Okay. Because we do these daylighting on neck downs, we just want to make sure that there's effective net width for the future purposes of St. James Street. It's also good for you to tell us whether St. James Street is functioning as a one-way street or a two-way street. All of that, I'm sure you know, impacts the functionality of that street when we do these neck downs.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Please continue.
And finally, yeah, the new street light at this corner, and there is existing Boston Water and Sewer drainage curb inlets. They do have gutter mounts, and they do look functional and not broken, so we'll be retaining those structures. And that is all.
Thank you, Robert. Any comments by fellow commission members?
I think just when you are adding dimensions, if you could add dimensions for the pinch points that the relocated streetlights and signals are creating.
Yep.
Well.
Will do.
Bob, I just have one question. On the bottom left, the drain manhole, we just want to double check. It's right by the handicap ramp, and it's outside it's not on the taper.
Okay, this one here?
No, if you just, you go up.
This
on
one?
the main road, the handicap ramp.
Okay.
Yeah, right there.
Yep, so we did shift it. It's right on the edge, but we did shift the taper so it's not conflicting with the manhole cover.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep.
Robert, further to the thinking of Ms. Devlin, on the right-hand side, right there, okay. So you said you are going around because there's a manhole, a utility, right? Who is that? To whom does that belong to?
It's electrical. I'm not 100% positive the owner, but I can figure that out.
A second, Robert. So if you're not aware of who it is, you need to find out to whom it belongs to, because they may not be very supportive of you building right around that thing, right? I mean, what if it is an electrical board or whatever? So it's like, I'm just guessing here. So you do need to find out who the heck owns that and make sure that they are okay with you constructing, 8-inch edge stone around that.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a little bit of homework which you need to do so that PSC staff and commission member staff can review your plans appropriately.
Yep, we did do the coordination. We didn't get any objections, but I'll just make sure, double check that they didn't respond, that they do know, and I'll make sure that coordination's done.
And also show on the plans through notation to whom it belongs to.
Sure.
So that when PIC's commission takes action, it is not burdened upon us as to the work which you are going to do, which would be approved by the commission. Okay?
Yep, understood.
Just a little bit of homework. And do please check with Mr. Mossman, Zach Mossman.
Yep.
That your neck down resulting widths are consistent with a variety of programs which the department is supporting others in terms of slow streets and a whole bunch of other things. Okay, so we just want to do the same thing, but not cramp it in such a way so the James Street functionality gets sort of messed up from here through eternity.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Robert. Any further comments by Commission staff? Hearing none, we will see you in 2 weeks, which would be July 8th.
Thank you.
Thank you. Fourth item on today's agenda, 41 Neptune Road, Lowell Street, East Boston, grant of location on a petition by Massachusetts Port Authority. Good morning. Do we have someone from the Port Authority, Massport?
Hello, Para. This is Terry Rookard with AECom, consultant to Massport. I know Greg Ettridge, the project manager, is on, but he must be having trouble with his audio.
No, I think, yeah, hi Greg, I think you are muted. That may be the reason why we are not hearing you, but we do see it. But Terry, you can take it from here if you can control the screen. But I do see Mr. Ettridge. He's just muted.
Kathy Schaefer, the project engineer, is also on. Kathy, can you
Yep.
hear me?
I can, yep.
There you are. Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
Given that Greg is not able to communicate, could you go ahead and just do an overview of what this petition is about, please?
Sure, yep.
Thank you.
I will share my screen.
Kathy, if you could introduce yourself. I know Greg Sweet Massport, but
Kathy Schaefer, I'm a civil engineer with AECom.
thank you, Kathy. Thank you for doing that. We can see your screen.
All right, can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so the location of this project, it's on Level Street, which is in the North Cargo area over at Massport. There's about a 500-foot section of Level Street that is City of Boston. Either end of Level Street is Massport owned. So the project is, I'm going to zoom up here a little bit, is to install some deck banks from the parcel, the Massport owned parcel, out into, across Level Street to an existing Massport manhole that's located. It's about 25 feet from the curb line. So we have 3 new deck banks going to that manhole, and then there's a new deck bank, a small communication deck bank going over to a communications manhole. And then we're reconstructing the sidewalk across the front of the parcel and providing a new driveway into the parcel for maintenance vehicles.
Kathy, I'm caught off guard a little bit, and this virtual online communication has its moments to be desired. I'm going to ask you something which I really don't have an answer. I don't recall Massport owning any conduits or ducts, banks that has been petitioned through the Public Improvement Commission, because I believe if you are owning any ducts, there's a protocol which we need to go through so that you are registered with DigSafe and a whole bunch of other things. So can you shed some light on that front, Kathy, so that I'm not babbling here like an idiot?
Massport owns the deck banks that are in Level Street, I believe. I wish Greg could respond to that.
I believe that they're appropriately registered with all of our stuff. We've done other subsurface projects with them before, and I believe that they are appropriately in our system.
Thank you, Amy. So they are
Registered with the cable office, all that stuff.
all of that good stuff. Awesome. Thank you, Amy. Sorry, Kathy.
Okay, that's okay.
I suppose this is fairly straightforward, so you need this stuff. And any comments or questions by commission members? Hearing none, and I believe my BSc staff is okay with things. Do you? Okay, let me see. Great. We will mark you up for 2 weeks.
Okay, that's great.
For July 8th.
All right, thank you.
Fifth item on today's agenda, 233 Hancock Street, Dorchester, grant of location on a petition by Verizon New England Inc. Good morning. Is there someone from Verizon today? Good morning. Is there any person that is representing Verizon New England? If you are trying to speak, your microphone might be muted. In the interest of time, let's move on to new business item number 6, which is 415 D Street, Summer Street, South Boston, Roundup located on a petition by Crown Castle.
Good morning, everyone. This is Brian Cunningham from Castle. With me today is Anna Samashka, also from Castle.
Brian, you may need to speak up a little bit because I'm having difficulty and I'm not sure whether your voice is being captured.
I apologize for that. Is this better?
Perfect, perfect. Go for it.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Again, my name's Brian Cunningham, and with me today is Anna Samashka. We're both from Crown Castle. I'm going to share my plan. Is it visible on your screens?
Not yet, Brian.
Still no? Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, I think it should come up now.
You're good.
Okay, thank you. Crown Castle is petitioning for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants for conduits to be placed on D Street and Summer Street in South Boston. This plan shows where we propose to place the conduit. We plan to service a small cell node at this location right here. The trench would be 245 feet to a handhole, a new handhole that we would place in the sidewalk next to the node, next to the light pole, into Summer Street. And just to orient you, this is Summer Street and this is D Street. We go into Summer Street, over to D Street, and into electric manhole 26686 in the intersection. At that point, we plan to lease duct from Eversource to get from this electric manhole to another electric manhole about 330 feet down D Street, where we have a fiber optic backbone that we'll connect to. In that trench, we would place three ducts, a 2-inch duct for power connectivity from the light pole up to the electric hole, another 2-inch duct for our fiber optic cable from the light pole up to the electric hole, which, as I say, we would then lease duct to get back to our backbone, and then a 4-inch city shadow duct with interducts inside of it. One thing I want to mention is that this electric manhole is actually in Massport property. The last about 13 feet of this trench would be in Massport property. Massport border is right about here. And we are in contact with Massport and working with them on the permitting for that portion of the trench. Are there any questions or comments?
Thank you. Any questions by fellow commission members? Hearing none. I believe PIC staff is fine with this item and there is no testimony, so we will mark you up for 2 weeks, which would be July 8th. We'll see you then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Going back to new business item number 5. Sounds like the last roll call here. 233 Hancock Street. Is Verizon here with us today? I believe they are not here. Todd, if you could send a message to all of us, verifying that there is no there is no Verizon here. Wonderful. So, Todd, if you could let Verizon know that they or their representatives failed to attend today's hearing. That should conclude today's business. Oh, I would like to hear a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. You all have a very safe day. Take care now.
Thank you.